Alright, hey, HadesOmega's here, and welcome to our end of the year, alright, 2023 video for Alta Redshift SM39, alright? So here's the story on this bike. In 2023, I got this bike, alright? June of 2023, so halfway towards the year, alright? So this video is going to be about the bike, the trophies it's gotten, the races that I put it through, okay? So here's some information about it. But yeah, I have a video like when I got and everything. Maybe I'll put it at the end, a link at the end of the video if you want to hear my story about this bike. But I was looking around on Facebook and then I saw this guy. All right, Alta Redshift SM. It was in Santa Cruz and the seller was trying to sell it for about $9,000. And then I kind of watched it for a few weeks, and this seller needed to leave the country. All right, he had actually left the country when I bought it. All right, so I never even met the owner. All right, he left it at his friend's house, and we did the transaction there. All right, but I bought it for $7,000, so it was pretty good. I went from like $9,000 to $7,000. I believe when these came out, they were about $13,000. All right, and then yeah. So, but if you guys don't know what Alta Redshift SM it's a Supermoto that Alta Motors made and came out in 2018, I believe, 2018, 2017, around that time frame. All right, they had the MX model, the EX model, and then the EXR and the MXR and the SM. All right, unfortunately, they never made an SMR version. All right, the R means it's faster. Okay, guys, that's what the extra R is. It means it's faster. All right. But anyway, yeah, I picked it up for $7,000 in Santa Cruz. Needed a little work. That's what I'm gonna say. There was some rust here and there to fix. And my plan for buying this bike was to go racing with it. All right. I wanted a big Supermoto race bike. All right. HadesOmega's been racing mini Supermotos for quite a while now, like at least 3 years, or yeah, 3-4 years I've been racing mini Supermotos. All right, well, I don't have a big bike to race, you know, and I got big bike envy. Okay, so well, what electric motorcycle out there could you know, what electric Supermoto bike is out there? There's really nothing honestly, besides this bike right here. Okay, this is it right here. Okay, it's pretty. I'll tell you now, it's pretty fast. This thing is a whole shot monster, man. This thing just takes off so fast from the line. All right, and I use it for a bunch of different racing. Okay, but I mainly bought it to race Supermotos. All right, here's some information on some of the stuff that I've done to it. All right, I'm not going to go too much in depth. It's still work in progress. I'm not going to lie. All right, so. I had adjusted the suspension. All right, the previous owner had the compression turned up all the way, so the front was like rock hard, and it's still. I feel like it still needs some tuning, but I'm going to take it to a suspension tuner to get them to do that. All right, so I want them to do their hocus pocus magic on it. All right, and hopefully it'll handle better. That's my biggest gripe about this bike is the handling. The handling is not good. All right, guys. It's not up to my standard. Right, I race right back here is the Lightning, man. So that's my other race bike, and this thing handles way better than this thing. All right, this thing just got a lot of power, man. It eats up a lot of power too. Okay, yeah. So we got the handguards on it. We added the handguards this year. I bought a separate set of wheels. Oh yeah. I should probably let me go get them. Okay, there it is. There's one of the wheels right there. All right. This is a Michelin Power Cup Evo, all right, and I got a Michelin Power Cup 2. Yeah, and my other wheel's a Michelin Power Cup, all right. But anyway, I bought a second set of wheels from Liquid Performance. They're the ones that are liquidating the parts for the Redshift, all right. So that's what this is. So that I think this is the biggest upgrade that I did was that we bought some racing rubber for it because these tires are the same tires that came with the bike, and they don't grip good at all, man. They slip and slide all over the place. They're too old, is what I'm gonna say. All right, the rubber's too old. Yeah. Other than that, it's pretty much stock. All right. I changed the handlebars. I didn't like how wide the stock handlebars were, and then I had this problem with it being too high and too low. If it's too high, the front comes up when I launch. So I wanted it to be, you know, narrower, but I still wanted it, you know, to be kind of low, all right? But and so I went with CR high bend bars, all right? Pro Taper CR high bend. And then I'm going to wind up changing them again, actually. Okay, that's my winter project. All right, and then the bike's official number is 39. All right, that's the number I will be using when I enter Supermoto races. All right, unless somebody else has that number, then we'll make it 39X. Okay, that's why I have this X right here. Okay, so I just take this electrical tape X and I just stick it on the side of the 9. Right, and then now you got 39X. Okay. Why is it number 39? Well, the VIN number is 39, all right? This is the 39th Supermoto, all right? This is the 39th 2018 Alta Redshift Supermoto produced, okay? That's why this is bike 39. And one coincidence is I had a Victory Impulse TT before this bike, all right? That was my previous electric motorcycle, and that bike was 139, all right? So I chalk it up on like, yeah, man, you're destined to wind up with this bike because it has the same number, almost the same number, all right, as your other bike. The last two numbers are the same on the VIN, all right. Okay, I changed the foot pegs to Tusk foot pegs, and we added Supermoto sliders to it, and yeah, we got Warp 9 Supermoto sliders front and back. I've got some titanium bolts for the caliper. It's a real pain in the butt changing the front wheel on this, man. The caliper has to come off, and then you got to take it off and then bounce it and do all this alignment stuff and then put it back together. Yeah, I hate changing the front. However, the back is super easy to change on this bike, all right? Yeah, it's convenient. It's nice that, like, yeah, it came from the factory just like this. Honestly, I think it would probably handle better if it had a 16.5 front, all right, is what I want to say. Okay, and then other than that, yeah, it's pretty stock. I haven't really done much to it, all right? The biggest upgrade was the wheels, all right? I'm running the Michelin stuff on it. And it does okay, but I still have gripes about the handling, all right? And we're going to fix that in 2024, okay? But I've only had it for half a year, and yeah, we've already been racing it. So here's its racer resume for 2023, all right? So we raced it at Cascadia Supermoto round 4, I believe. That's the North American Supermoto shootout qualifier, all right, was what it was. And we got 3rd place, all right, and I got the trophy for it right here. On July 16th, we got 3rd place in the beginner class, all right, the novice beginner class. So hey, here's the story about this one. Yeah, I don't have too many trophies, so I'll talk about each one. But anyway, so the how I wound up with the novice trophy was I entered the 250 class, and I was getting my butt whooped, man. I was in the back of the pack, and then my chain broke on the Light Beat, this bike right here. Chain broke on the final lap, and I had to push it all the way to the end. And then the next race was this one, and I was tired. I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna race this one. Can you put me in the beginner race? And that's what I did. All right, so I skipped the heat for the beginner race because we raced with the 250s, but then we raced in the novice class. All right, and then so I raced against a gas. This is girl riding a gas 2-stroke bike. And there was a guy with a YZ, and then, I don't remember. There was another dude that I raced for to get 3rd place, all right? So I got 3rd place in that race, and it was a great race. We were, like, swapping positions, and yeah, man, she was pretty good. And the other dude was pretty good, too. Then there was a guy that came in 1st place. He just killed us all, all right? He was on, like, a YZ 450 or something, and he just destroyed us, so... So he no longer can race in the beginner class. That's what I say. Anyway, yep, so that was it. It was a pretty epic race. Unfortunately, I didn't get it on video because my camera ran out of battery, right? So yeah, but it was a pretty epic race. I really enjoyed that race, right? I hope to race with Cascadia Supermoto more often, but they're like in the Pacific Northwest, so it's quite a drive for me to go race with them, so maybe some other times. Okay. So, and then we raced in Northern Nevada Kart Club Supermoto round 6, all right? And that was on July 22nd to 23rd. And we raced this bike in a 250 Ultralight and 250 Supermoto, all right? Basically, 250 on the asphalt, and 250 Supermoto with the dirt, all right? And I believe we got this trophy, all right? Bam! All right, second place, 250 400 ultralight, all right, is what they call it. I think that's the pavement one. Second place, and I honestly can't remember how I got this. I think there's might have been only a couple racers or something in that class. Yeah, so the one thing about the 250 class, all right, oh, I raced it, by the way. So I class this as a 250, all right? It's about as fast as a 250. It puts out about 40 horsepower, all right? That's according to the specs. And in my opinion, it's about as fast as a modified 250, all right? So a very fast 250 Supermoto, it's about as fast as that, all right? Now, power-wise, it's somewhere between like a 250 and a 450, all right? It's got enough power to keep up with the 450, but it doesn't got the handling to keep up with the 450 or the 250, all right? In my opinion. So like I said, my biggest gripes about this bike is the handling. I don't like it, all right? And hopefully we can address that in 2024. But anyway, yeah, we got second place for that race, and then we got second place. We got third place in 250 Supermoto. All right, I think Sharon Mao showed up the next day, and then she whooped us all. All right, but the 250 class is not very competitive, guys. So if you come down to Northern Nevada Kart Club and you do their races, there's not too many 250s that show up. That's what I want to say. Okay. Also, we raced this bike in Wednesday night drags a bunch of times. This became my drag bike in 2023, all right? We raced the Light Beat, all right, this bike right here, one time, all right? I only raced it one time because I bought this bike, okay? And then I wanted to see if we could win with this bike. Unfortunately, we never caught on the podium with it. It was just one problem after another, you know. It's my problem, you know. Like I took off at the wrong time, or I broke out, you know, something like that, all right? We use it for bracket drag racing and Wednesday night drags, okay? There's a couple times where we came pretty close to, you know, to becoming the runner-up, all right, is what I want to say. All right, but yeah, it's a pretty good bike to drag race, all right? I have to say, for whatever reason, every pass, it gets slower and slower, so, yeah. And also, this bike's max speed is 80 miles an hour, all right? So on the quarter mile, it literally, on the 8th mile, it hits its top speed and it just does 80 miles the rest of the way. So that actually makes it a good bracket drag racing bike, because it has a lot of power and then it just kind of stops accelerating, right? And it just sails the rest of the way, all right? And that's what makes it kind of, what's the word, consistent, all right? And that's what you want in drag racing. So, so yeah, we raced in Wednesday night drags August 2nd, Wednesday night drags September 6th, Wednesday night drags September 20, Wednesday night drags October 4th, and I think that was it. Yeah, that was the last one. It just kept on getting we kept on getting rained out, and that was it. So about a handful of Wednesday night drag races and no trophy. All right. HadesOmega has not got a trophy for Wednesday night drags for quite some time now. All right. HadesOmega is kind of like a veteran drag racer now. Okay, but the good thing about drag racing is it teaches you how to launch your bike. All right, and this bike is a whole shot monster. Okay. All right. What else? What else? We used this bike to race in a suicide awareness relay race that Shafta Supermoto was holding, all right, on September 17th. We were on the winning team, because there's 2 races, all right, guys, and there wasn't really any trophies for it or anything. It was like a charity event, okay, guys, and we raced in the. I raced on Team Poland, all right. I was on Eric Poland's team. He was the captain. And I was one of his riders, right? I was one of his racers, right? And we rode our own bikes, okay? and the team, when I was on Team Poland, I won, all right? But and then we changed team, we swapped teams, and we raced in another direction for the second half of the day, and I think we got like second place. Oh, by the way, I won slow race on this, all right? So here's the story. We had a tie, all right? We had a tie for first place, all right? We had a tie for first place because we had this freaking, you know, we get the same amount of laps for this relay race, all right? And then so we had to nominate somebody from our team, you know, with our bikes, and we were going to have a slow race to break the tie, all right? And, you know, it was like, I don't know, probably like 20 feet or something. So I raced Mark, that was on the other team. He had his 2:30, all right? And I beat him, all right? I beat him easily. Like, they were skeptical whether I could ride this bike really slow, and you know what? This is an excellent slow racing bike, okay? The throttle is like so good and smooth on this bike, all right? This has the best electric throttle, you know, electric motorcycle throttle I've ever ridden, all right? This bike is no joke, I'm telling you. And you know, the smoothness is what helps in a slow race, and it did fantastic, all right? I'm also really good on the light beat too, by the way. Okay, yeah. So there was that. All right, that was the relay race, and then okay, we raced this bike in the Roland Sands Moto Beach Classic at Huntington Beach, California. All right, that took place on October 14, 2023. We raced in the Run What You Brung class with it. All right, and it did pretty damn good. All right, the bikes that were faster than us were like, you know, veteran, like legit like flat track racers and Supermoto racers. Okay, and we were like behind them. Actually, we almost got third place. All right, let me see. I wound up crashing into this other guy. Like he like changed his line right away. Oh, we were trying to get around a bagger or something, and then he went in, and I was like in there, and then like we made contact, and then we both went down. All right, now, I don't know if any of these scratches are, you know, some of these battle scars, man. This bike is not pristine condition anymore. All right, but yeah, I wound up bumping into another guy, and then we both went down, and yeah, I think that's why this is all scuffed up here. And yeah, well, I wound up getting fourth place in that race, unfortunately. So we wound up passing the guy that went down, though. So I'm pretty sure we would have passed him, but believe it or not, the guy was on knobbies too, man. So yeah, if we can get this thing to handle a little better, I think it would be even better for a flat track. It was an asphalt short track race, okay, guys. It was a short track, it was flat track, short track on asphalt. Right, is what that race was. Okay, and then we got 2 more trophies at the end of the year. All right, these guys for the same event. All right. It was a Shasta Supermoto Triple Crown, all right? It was on November 11th to 12th, 2023. We got the Vet 40, all right? Vet 40 class. We got 3rd place in Vet 40, and then 2nd place in 250 Amateur Supermoto. So definitely, you know, we got a thing going on there with the 250s, man. So my goal is to try to get this thing more competitive with the 250s, all right? I think the reason we're getting these trophies is because a lot of people aren't showing up to the races, and then, you know, there's only like 2 or 3 racers, so immediately you get on the podium, all right? Unfortunately, that's the way it works in Supermoto, all right? In like dirt bike races and stuff, if there's not a certain amount of racers, then they don't award trophies to, you know, like 3rd place or something, all right? But in Supermoto, apparently they do, all right? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, right? I even got like a 5th place trophy for this bike, so, all right? But yeah, so these are all the trophies right here, all right? I think the Cascadia Supermoto one looks awesome, man. We got to try and bag some more of these in 2024. We'll see if we can head on out to Washington or Oregon and race with those guys, all right? It was fun. It's fun going different places and racing against different people, is what I want to say, all right? But, yeah, so I had a great time. We only raced it for about half the year, okay? And yeah, so that is the racer resume for this bike, me and this bike this year, all right? Next year, I plan to do more 250 Supermoto races, and maybe we'll do some flat track. There's an indoor flat track race coming up. We can probably race this and that. We'll race it with slicks, all right? And then, what else? I'm trying to do some flat track races with this. We're not going to do any dirt bike races, obviously, because it's a Supermoto, and I would like to keep it a Supermoto, all right? If I wanted to race in the dirt with a Redshift, it's probably best to just buy another Redshift. Buy one that's like, you know, dirt bike already, okay? But, so So yeah, some of my gripes about this bike is it's heavy, dude. It's 280 pounds. So it's heavy for a Supermoto. For a Supermoto, it's pretty heavy, all right? And it doesn't handle very good, all right? And I think it's because of the weight. But it also, I think it's because maybe the suspension isn't tuned very well, all right? So that's my goal in 2024 is to get this bike to handle better, all right? And how I plan to do that is we're going to get a suspension adjustment, all right? We're going to lower the front, all right? I'm going to move these forks higher up into the triple clamps, all right? And that should lower the front. What I noticed when riding this bike is it seems like it's got a lot of rake, and that's probably why it doesn't want to turn a lot. So, more rake makes it more stable, and then less rake makes it more unstable, but it'll change direction faster, right? Another thing we could do is install a 16.5-inch front, but that would require us getting like a custom wheel made because they never made 16.5 wheels for the Redshift, right? 17s in the United States, there's a better selection of 17s, all right? And in Europe, they use 16.5 a lot, and there's more options. There's not really, I think the only option here is like Metzler or something. Or Metzler or Michelin, and the Michelin tires are like, they're like super expensive, right? So economically, it's better to stick with a 17. Performance-wise, I think 16.5 would probably be better, all right? Now, I rode a Husky FS450, guys, twice. I've ridden it 3 times. I've ridden a Husky FS450 3 times, and every time it blows my mind away, all right? When I get off of this bike and I get on the Husky, I'm just like, holy crap. This thing is so fast, it's so light, it feels like a mini bike, you know, you can just throw it around. And I think that's the way we got to try to get this bike, but I don't think it will ever be like a FS450, guys. And we're not racing against that bike anyway. So like thank goodness we're not racing against that bike, man, because it is fast, man. Okay, but anyway, we got all the basic stuff, all the sliders and stuff to go to the racetrack. You know, I got the handguards, so all the basic stuff is done. We just got to work on the handling, all right? And so yeah, we're gonna lower the front, adjust the suspension. What else can we do? Oh yeah, and then there's one more thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a left-hand brake, all right? Left-hand rear brake is what we're gonna do. So as you guys, there's no clutch lever on the Redshift, right? But it has a traditional foot brake lever for the rear. Okay, so I'm trying to get an aux brake. Okay, guys. So what an aux brake is, it's like it's got like a mountain bike master cylinder type thing, a lever that goes on the left hand side, and then there's a line that goes to the master cylinder. All right. So there's a master cylinder down there, right? On the other side of the bike, there's a master cylinder. Well, there's an attachment that goes to the master cylinder, and it allows you to keep the rear, the foot brake. It allows you to keep the foot brake and still have a left-hand rear brake. All right, so you could use the left-hand rear brake or the foot brake to actuate the rear brake. All right, and I like that. All right, I'd like to have both. I've never had both before, so I wanted to try it out. The only thing is this aux brake is like $400, and I feel it's not worth $400, but I found a seller that can sell it to me for like $200, so I might try to do that. All right, the other option is to get a Stark Varg. All right, the Stark Varg has a left-hand brake kit. All right, and we can do that. Or if I can find an old Alta Redshift left-hand rear brake kit, but there's no more out there, unfortunately. Okay, but if we go the Stark route, we might have to lose the foot brake. All right. Now there's a kit out there. Clake sells it that you can add a second line to your master cylinder, and then you can have the foot brake and the rear brake. It's a little more complicated, and I would have to shorten the brake line. All right, and that's some custom made stuff. All right, is what I want to say. So I might have to. That's Plan B. All right, Plan B, and then there's a Plan C. All right, there's another kit out there that Moto Z makes that uses a Brembo master cylinder and brake line, and yeah, but it's like $300. So HadesOmega's trying not to spend a lot of money, is what I say. All right, but I think it would be worth it to have the left-hand rear brake because it's just easier to use for me, you know. The Light B has like spoiled me with its brakes. The left-hand rear brake. I like it. I like it. I've never been good at using the foot brake, guys. Never. All right. I've been riding motorcycles for a long, long time, and I don't use the rear brake as much as I should. All right. But I know it's there. It's just I'm just not good at using it, type of thing. Okay. Anyway, so that's my 2023 story. All right. That's the 2023 story of the Alta Redshift SM. All right. We got it in June, and we raced it for the rest of the year, and look forward to more races in 2024. All right. Hopefully, I mean this thing is kind of like a collector's item. They don't make them anymore. So hopefully this thing will, you know, keep on racing. All right, without having much problems. There's not much to go wrong with these bikes, is what I'm gonna say. So hopefully that's true. Okay. Yeah, I'm just riding it. Okay. Yeah, charging it sucks. This thing eats up a lot of power. Really, you can only race it one race a day. All right, from what I've learned. All right. And that's like a practice, heat, and a main race. Okay. But anyway, there it is. Thanks for watching. And these are the trophies. Check them out. Pretty cool. All right, thanks for watching. HadesOmega's out. Look forward to more Alta Redshift SM39 in 2024. Hey, yeah, so another thing I wanted to point out that I love about this bike is it has a license plate, all right? It is registered, and you can drive it, you can ride it on the road. And I have a set of street tires for it, you know, regular street tires, you know, not for the racetrack tires. And I just ride around town with it. You know, I have a good time riding around town. It doesn't go very far, guys. It only goes like 40 miles, but yeah. And I use it for DoorDash. So this bike does make me money, all right? It makes me money through YouTube videos, and you guys, the viewers, watching my videos and the ads and all that stuff. But I also make money with it using DoorDash. Okay, it delivers food, and it does actually a pretty damn good job doing that. All right. I want to say. Okay. Yeah.